Shalom, Erev Tov, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. Israel reiterates its determination to disarm the Islamist Hamas terror organization, a commitment echoed by the United States at the UN Security Council. The IDF's 210th Division, which is deployed along the border with Syria, launches a surprise exercise to guarantee preparedness. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar proclaims Lebanon is under Iranian occupation. Changing into a civilian outfit does not turn terrorists into partners for peace. While this statement could be attributed to more than just one theater throughout the Middle East, Israeli ambassador to the United Nations Dani Danon made this remark in reference to the Islamist Hamas in the Gaza Strip, as the Palestinian terror group continues to violate President Trump's 20-point plan. First and foremost, its failure to return the remains of 3 additional hostages from captivity, alongside attacks against IDF forces and Gazan civilians alike. Nevertheless, according to the United Nations, the fragile ceasefire largely holds.
With the ceasefire largely holding, the United Nations has redoubled efforts to mobilize and scale up humanitarian assistance, seizing the moment to reach the population where they are. We must not risk a reversal. The coordinated international effort needs to be expanded, both in immediate terms to consolidate the ceasefire and over the longer term to realize a more secure and just future for all. But the bodies of 3 hostages have yet to be returned, with families waiting in agony for that day to come. The bodies of the deceased hostages must be returned immediately. The decisions made now will determine whether the ceasefire endures or unravels. The first phase of the ceasefire must be fully implemented. And I urge the parties to urgently reach an agreement on the modalities to implement the next phases. The challenges remains immense, but the cost of failure is unimaginable. We have the tools to lay the foundations for success, but the work ahead demands an unwavering commitment from everyone.
It is worth noting that the Palestinian observer to the United Nations, Riyad Mansour, despite the Palestinian Authority having no control over the Gaza Strip for a better part of 2 decades now, seized the opportunity to rebuke the State of Israel nonetheless, absent any foundation to its conspiratorial allegations.
Israel seeks the collapse of the ceasefire as it continues to pursue the 3 things that President Trump's plan denied it: forced displacement, occupation, annexation. It is trying to achieve this aim by stalling the entry of humanitarian aid, by resuming its attacks, and most importantly, by trying to entrench the yellow line or even to advance beyond it. The ceasefire must be upheld and respected in full. Nothing can justify that 1,000 Palestinians have been killed or injured since the onset of the ceasefire.
The United States pushed back at the baseless accusations, stressing its unwavering commitment to Israel's security and the demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. Moreover, the deputy ambassador to the world body called on the international community to help fund the International Stabilization Force after the majority of countries merely supported the President Trump's 20-point plan just by words rather than proactive action.
We invite member states ready to act through the Board of Peace to step up and pledge personnel, equipment, and funding for the ISF. Stability will require burden sharing, and your support will help make President Trump's vision for peace a reality. The ISF will help create a Gaza free of terrorist rule and safe for aid and investment by protecting civilians. This includes humanitarian operations and coordination to secure humanitarian corridors. The United States remains unwavering in its commitment to Israel's security and the demilitarization of Gaza. The recent strikes by the IDF on Hamas targets were in response to Hamas operatives violating the ceasefire. The United States recognizes Israel's legitimate security concerns.
Israel's ambassador to the United Nations opened his remarks by reaffirming Jerusalem's commitment to President Trump's 20-point plan.
Israel will continue to honor its commitments under the plan, but we will not hesitate to neutralize immediate threats to our citizens and our soldiers. We remain focused on achieving our goals, bringing our fallen hostages home, and ensuring that Hamas is disarmed. We are still waiting for the return of the bodies of our 3 fallen hostages so that they can be given the dignity of a proper burial.
The Israeli diplomat to the world body continued by reaffirming Israel's determination to disarm Hamas fully and irreversibly.
Hamas must be disarmed, not partially, not symbolically, fully and irreversibly. The truth is that there can be no peace, no stability, and no future for Gaza while Hamas remains armed. That must be the focus of the international community. In the wake of the ceasefire, the world has seen that Hamas, what they do to the people. You saw the pictures where they publicly execute Gazans in the streets, crushing dissent, and silencing anyone who questioned its rule. As we speak, Hamas is attempting to assert its control over parts of Gaza. Israel will not allow terrorists to rebuild or reposition. They can take off their green handbands, but changing into a civilian outfit does not turn terrorists into partners for peace.
Meanwhile, the United Nations seized the Security Council meeting to voice its alarm over Israel's unwavering commitment to protect its northern front from both Iranian proxies as well as jihadi militants in both Syria and Lebanon, at a time, of course, when much of the world essentially accepted former Al-Qaeda and Islamic State terrorists as legitimate rulers in Damascus.
Turning to developments in Lebanon, I reiterate Secretary General's call for the parties to uphold their obligation to maintain the cessation of hostilities and the full implementation of the Security Council Resolution 1701. I also echoed Secretary General's call for an immediate cessation of all violations of Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity and respect for the 1974 Disengagement of Forces Agreement.
With regard to the Syrian front, IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir conducted a surprise exercise evaluation of Division 210 as part of the General Staff exercise Magen Oz, during the course of which readiness for a rapidly developing event was drilled. According to General Zamir, the General Staff are drawing the lessons from the inquiries of October 7th and implementing them in the field in order to rebuild the foundations on which the IDF will stand, stronger and more prepared for the next campaign. Turning to Lebanon, where the Iranian proxy Hezbollah buried its slain chief of staff Haitham Tabatabai as the terror group sustained its most devastating blow amid Iranian-backed efforts to rehabilitate itself.
Praise be to Allah, we are steadfast, and we will continue to be steadfast. Praise be to Allah, victory may be soon, Allah willing. No matter what they do, no matter what happens, we are steadfast, this is our country, this is our land, and we will remain steadfast in it.
Turning to Paraguay, where Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar, in an address to the country's Congress, asserted that so long as Hezbollah refuses to disarm, in breach of the ceasefire that was reached with Israel on November 27 of 2024, Lebanon remains under Iranian occupation.
The head of the terror army was a mass murderer. He had American and Israeli blood on his hands. He was directing the efforts of rebuild Hezbollah terror army. He was eliminated yesterday. IDF operations against Hezbollah are not a violation of Lebanon's sovereignty. The very existence of the Hezbollah terror state as the strongest armed force in Lebanon is the violation of Lebanon's sovereignty. As long as Hezbollah is not disarmed, Lebanon will remain de facto under Iranian occupation.
Regarding the bilateral relations between Israel and Paraguay, Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar praised the South American nation for its close relations with the State of Israel and pledged Jerusalem's commitment to assist Asuncion in all sectors of its qualitative edge.
The partnership between Israel and Paraguay is long-term and strategic. I will not mention all the fields of cooperation, but today we signed a very important MOU on security cooperation. This is a clear expression of our strategic ties. Paraguay is developing its defense capabilities. Israel's defense industry has experience and capabilities that we want to share with our friends, with you. And we will.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. Please pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, as well as for the peace of Jerusalem and redemption of Israel. Jonathan Essen wishing you an Erev Mevorach. Until our next broadcast, Shalom from Jerusalem.